What a beautiful day for a Q&A. And today's Q&A, I got more Q's than A's. So let's see what's going on with this right now. I'm Tom Kovichak, and this is Tom's Trains and Things. This channel was created to help other modelers who are in need of guidance in pursuing their dream of building a model railroad. And why do I have more Q's than A? Because I got some questions for you in this episode. So let's get started with it right now. All right, it's a little bit cooler here. It's 9 o'clock. We just took our walk and eating breakfast on the lanai, and it is hot outside already. My goodness. But anyway, if you would like to support our channel and our webpage, go on over to patreon.com/Tom Kovichak, where you can pledge your support. And I would like to thank those of you who have already done so. So thank you. One more thing before we get to the Q&A. If this is your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, ding that bell so you can be notified whenever I have a new video coming out. And you know why you could hit that subscribe button? Because it's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. So let's get going right now. This is it right now. Okay, here we go. Let's start this off by saying I have two questions for you. And the first one I found out this morning was resolved, and this one was from Andy Kemp. Now he had, and I'll put the thing right down here, his message right down here of what his problem was. But anyway, he was having a problem with two locomotives, trying to get them into consist, and I don't think that he was doing it right, but he resolved his problem. And Andy, if you're watching, can you let me know what you did to resolve the problem so we could put it on here, and maybe if somebody else is having the same problem, then we could figure it all out. That's what I'm doing these Q&As for, is if anybody has problems, they could ask it here, and they could ask it in my comments and in the discussion page. There's a little, little tabs on your thing down below here, and one of them says discussion. You could go on there and ask questions or leave comments on there also. But anyway, Andy, if you can, send me a message saying what you did to resolve it, and that way we could all know what happened on there. Another one was Pat Gallo, and he asked me about BXP88, and I had to look that one up because I didn't know what that was. But anyway, it's a Digitrax, and I'll put the picture right over here. It is occupancy detector and power management. They combine two controls and put it into one. And now he was asking, and I'll put his message down here, and he was asking if he could use that with his, where did I write it down? It's the SE8C, and I'll put a picture right there. That is for signaling, and the other one is for occupancy detection and power management. And he wrote, and after I responded to his message, he wrote back and he said he thinks he ordered that one by mistake, and he was going to send that one back because it really wasn't what he was looking for. I guess he was looking for more on signaling than occupancy detection, although he did ask if he could be used for occupancy detection. But if anybody has used the BXP88, leave a comment and let us know how you like it. So if anybody else asks questions about it, we know what to talk about on there. I had to read the thing and find out what it was all about because it only came out in this, I think it was March or May of this year. So it's fairly new, and I haven't seen any around anywhere, and haven't heard anybody using any yet. So I had to read up on it before I could answer his questions. So those are the two that I'm asking you to answer. Now, it's only one right now because Andy answered his own question. But Andy, give us a little help here and let us know what you did to resolve your dilemma. And also, Andy, I got to find it, and I'll break away and I'll bring it back. I was wrong when I was talking about the chocolate boxes that he was talking about. I thought, you know, when we had a discussion with him about the suitcase connectors, and he wrote back and was talking about chocolate boxes. Well, he did away with his suitcase connectors and started using chocolate boxes, and I thought he was calling the suitcase connectors chocolate boxes. Okay, Andy, is that what you're talking about? We call those terminal strips. Okay, is this what you call your chocolate boxes? So verify this for me so we could all understand what's going on here. This is, I'm assuming from your description that this is what you're talking about. Okay, Ian Turner asked a question in the power supply video. Is no resistor but getting higher reading than I had on my multimeter. Voltages are going to vary depending on the power supply, and you know, you're not going to all have the same reading. The only way that you're going to have 5 volts, 3.3 volts, 12 volts if you put a regulator on it, and I'm going to do a video on that later on, how to put a regulator on there. And he said, purple and black wire, why still have voltage on it? That's your standby voltage. As long as there's power on the power supply, even though you don't turn it on, that wire is there for the computer. They designed that so your computer can have power on certain items before you even hit the switch to turn it on. And he said after he pulled the plug and everything, there was still voltage there. Well, you have residual voltage on there is being held in there by capacitors. So eventually, if you keep your meter on there long enough, it'll, well, that's an analog meter, but the numbers will start going down. But anyway, use a digital meter. And I'm going to do a video on multimeters also, so everybody could find out how to use them if you don't know already. Okay, now I'm going to do a couple of old videos. Jack Gale on my Easy Soldering asked, where did you get those tweezers? Some of those tweezers I got from a vendor at a train show. They have all kind of little stainless steel gadgets that you could use, a lot of them for soldering, and I bought them there. Also, you can get them at Micromark or any other place that has soldering equipment. Cronus 101 on the drop bridge. Now this is a video that was way back. This was a long time ago on the drop bridge. I did the design of the drop bridge from an article in Model Railroader from probably back in 1990 or 91, I'm not sure, but it's in the video there. But anyway, the switches that I got from Radio Shack. And also you can get them at any electronic stores. All you need is just a little single pole, single throw switch. And that'll do the trick. Okay, Dwight Curley. He wrote on the message board on my channel, what would be the best transformer to start out with? And I asked him back, I said, what are your budgets? I said, I need a little bit more information. And this is the time when my family was down, so I finally got back to him. But he said he was going to use a Tech 2, either 1500 or 2500, and I told him, you know, either one of those would work great. He wants to run 2 locomotives on there, and I said he's going to have to go and put blocks in his layout because he's doing DC, and I think he said he's doing a 4x8 layout. So whatever you do, if you want to run multiple locomotives in there, you're going to have to put blocks in there. And there is a good video out that Mark from M&M Rails did with me about DC wiring. Go check that out to see more about it. Okay, that concludes the old videos. All right, I just have a few more questions here. Now, Edwin, now this name is as hard to say as mine, so excuse me if I don't get it right. Kowalinsky, okay, I hope that's right. He has a 20-year Corky's Carnival Caravan. He wanted to know, can it be converted to DCC? And I asked him, how does it run now? I says, if it doesn't run very well, putting a decoder in it isn't going to make it run any better. But if it does run, you're going to have to be careful, because I think on the older locomotives, you have to isolate the motors, make sure it doesn't ground out. That's the only thing you got to be careful of. He responded back by said he's not working on it right now. He's doing some other projects, but he'll be going into it a little bit later. But whenever you get it done or whatever you decide, let me know how it's going. Okay. Bob Skingley on the power video. What's the difference between plus 24 and minus 24? Well, actually, it was plus 12 and minus 12, and you put those two together to make a 24 volts. Okay, so that's that one there. Terry Lefevre and Joe on the same video on the power supply. What size resistor for LED? The LEDs where you get them by yourself, and Vinny also said, asked the question or had a comment on there about it. He has some LEDs that he doesn't have to use the resistor on it, and it works fine. They do manufacture some that already have the resistor built into it, but if you just get the plain LED, you need a current limiting resistor so you don't burn it out like that. And what I used was 220 ohm quarter watt resistor on that one there. You could play around with it, and you could get a range of resistors and see what resistors work best, because depending on the value of the resistor, you can make it brighter and dimmer. So you could play around with it, but what I used on that was 220 ohm. Where can I buy the resistors? Any electronic store. Where I bought them was, I posted it down there, and I'll post it here again, and I'll put their thing right here. And you can, any electronic store you can get them at, and they're pretty cheap. I think that's it. That's all the questions and all the answers on this version of Q&A, where I have more questions than answers. Keep commenting on those videos so I can answer your questions. And this helps both you and me and everybody else out there in case they have a problem similar to what you have. We could all do better once we have the solution to our problems. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You know why? My granddaughter says it's free, and I say it's free also. And while you're at it, well, that's a little smoke detector, but ding that bell, and that'll notify you of when I have a new video coming out. And this Saturday, Model Railroading for Beginner. It's a week late, but it's going to be out there. And I'm making it on electrical. I was going to do scenery. I did a little bit back there, but I didn't get finished with it. But I figured, since I got all these questions on here about electrical problems, I see that there's a lot of people out there that need a little bit of help with electrical issues. So I'm going to do a model railroading for beginners on electrics, not electronics. That's a little bit deeper, but the basics of electricity in your railroad. That's what it's going to be. Okay, so that's it for now, and we'll see.